Says 22.
It's the back of the building.
Right, but it is
If we could
20.
It's supposed to be 23.
Ready to go, Jim? All right, welcome to the January 18th, 2023 meeting of the Attleboro School Building Committee. For the record, I see Dave Sawyer, Jason Parento, Jackie Romanicki, Jerry Freecott, Jay Allard, Kate Campbell, Scott Domenici, Ed Stanton, Mark Furtado, Jeremy Gay, and myself, which makes a quorum. So therefore, we can conduct business. As always, the first order of business is the minutes. Jackie, did you have some corrections to suggest?
Yes, on the other minutes, it does still say that tonight's meeting is occurring tonight in 22.
Okay, I will change
So
it.
we do need to correct that. And just to prepare you for the agenda for next time, Paul's no longer the chair, and it also says February 22.
Oh my
For the
goodness.
next meeting.
I got
But other than that, it's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
It'll be a struggle for the
So
next
you
6
just want
months to
time
get
to
the
go
year
back?
right.
That's
the reality.
Copying the last one over and over
So,
again.
and here's Rob Geddes. So is there a motion to approve the minutes?
As amended.
Move to approve as amended.
Who's going to be, you're going to be my designated
We'll do
seconder
second,
tonight?
yeah.
Because Terry's not here.
None or Terry.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I want to take things a little bit out of the usual order because we have something that I think Jeremy needs to talk about. It's near the bottom of the agenda, and it's the next-gen fiber optic network sole source. And Ed Stanton, I understand that you want to recuse yourself from this particular vote,
That's correct.
but we still have a quorum and we still have enough people, so we're okay.
Yeah, thank you. And I have to leave at 6 o'clock, so thank you for taking this out of order. So NextGen is the vendor through AACS that maintains their fiber network. They have submitted a proposal with prevailing wage and everything that is necessary from our end to do work necessary for connecting the building in its entirety with fiber and to AACS's network. They're the vendor that established the network, has used the network. They provided their sole source letter, and we're ready to execute a purchase order. I have a not to exceed amount of $51,000. I've worked with Skanska on this to make sure it's amenable within our budget and how to submit it. So I'm seeking a not to exceed amount for fiber optic work of $51,000 with NextGen.
And this work has actually already been completed?
Yes.
It's always good to sign the contract after it's finished.
Not ideal, but it was
It was necessary
necessary.
work,
Yeah.
and so that's important. So, anybody have any questions or comments on that, Jerry?
I thought they had already connected the building.
It's
Yeah,
already- the
yeah,
work's
so I'm-
already done.
Yeah, so I'm trying to establish a not to exceed amount so we can establish a purchase order and then pay the invoice associated.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to approve NextGen as a sole source with a contractual obligation not to exceed $51,000? Is that what we need?
That's the motion, and then to not be presumptive on it, I didn't add the invoice to this month's invoices to be approved. But outside of the meeting format, the mayor can approve, acting mayor in this sense, can approve invoices that would then get added to the following month's meeting. So next month's meeting, should this not to exceed get approved, we would add the NextGen invoice for approval then.
And if we have an actual number, then we can approve the actual number, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. While we're at it, as long as you're here, you want to talk about the bills?
Excuse me, yeah, so we have the regular stuff that we typically see, Skanska, Castle Booze, and Consigli. This month's Consigli also includes a number of retainage reductions, which I'm sure Corey will go through when we go through the construction update. We have FF&E and AV through OFI and Red Thread, and then moving services through Sterling, which closes out that contract.
Just one thing to note, Jeremy, the retainage reductions that are included in the invoice for this month are separate from, those were the ones that were already previously approved, are separate from the ones that are listed on the meeting minutes for this evening. Those will be further reductions to each of those subcontractors that are listed on the meeting notes
So
for
those will
tonight.
show up in next invoice.
Correct. The ones that are getting paid today were approved last month,
Right.
and then there'll be more getting
Okay.
voted on tonight.
All right, so thank you, Jeremy, for that. I'm not going to ask for the vote on the bills yet because I do want everybody to hear what we're paying for and all, but I did want to give you the opportunity
Yeah.
to speak, so
Thank you.
that's good. All right, so for the construction update, Corey?
Ally
Ally.
will give the construction update today.
Nice.
All right, so in the past month, we have turned over these leased parking lots as well as the permanent bus loop. Site lighting was installed, and we had a pretty successful turnover. For this month and ongoing, we are working on the maintenance addition. The brick was finished. This week they will start tearing down scaffolding and the tenting around the building, and they're just currently washing down the brick. Finishes have also started in the maintenance addition. We finished the spray fireproofing. In the upcoming weeks, we will do the interior painting. We will be sealing the floor. We will also be hanging unit heaters. And then on the roof, we will be doing the edge metal and the gutters. We will be installing the windows and the garage doors hopefully by the end of next week. For the PV panels, the structure is substantially complete. They just have a few trim items left to do, so they will be back mobilized to site soon for that. As for the site, they are working on putting drainage in for the fields that will be coming in the spring and the east side of the site, as well as they are milling the existing asphalt that they will be reclaiming for fine grade.
And the maintenance addition, because I asked the ignorant question this morning, is not white, it's brick. That's just the tenting around the brick, well, because of the cold weather.
Yes, we have heaters, the big green heaters, to keep that 40 and above so we can install the masonry.
And what is our projected date that Jason will be doing a dance?
We are hoping to be substantially complete by the end of next week. We'll get the inspectors in there and Jason can start moving stuff in.
I'm sure that he will send you a bottle of scotch or something.
Absolutely.
So
Does it
good.
smell like hell?
We don't talk about snow.
Yeah. Now, Mike Tyler has assured us that it will not snow this winter. So that's the update. And I believe that in the interior, you're still knocking off punch list items, correct?
Correct. We are down to about 145 punch list items left.
And about 60 of those are exterior site related, so some we can do now, some we have to wait for the spring and summer to complete.
Right, and then I understand that there's some work scheduled over the February school vacation, is that correct?
Yes, we are targeting a couple punch list, like bigger punch list items, as well as some change work. So in the auditorium, there's some low walls that we're gonna raise a couple inches, just to make it a little safer. And then there's the stair lights. I don't know if you've been in the building, and the stair lights are a little yellower than the rest of the lights. So the LED boards all failed in all those custom stair lights. So over February break, we're gonna replace the LED boards in those stairs, in the stairwell lights. We're also gonna be replacing the kiln, the two kilns. The kilns that are currently installed are a little bit too big for the room. So we're gonna remove those and put slightly smaller ones in. But they're still, they're still big enough to do what the teacher needs in that space. But they function much better within that room.
And if I remember right, we were offered a swap out by the vendor?
Yeah, our vendor, AET Labs, offered to make that swap at no cost to the project.
Good. And then this morning, we actually started to talk about the summer schedule, right?
Yeah, so we actually, last week, we had a schedule summit with our site subcontractor and our landscaping subcontractor, as well as our electrician and concrete subcontractor, and we went over kind of the big dates for the summer schedule to get their buy-in now, make sure they have all their material, manpower lined up for this upcoming summer. So come June 27th or so, that's assuming 5 snow days, we're gonna take over the majority of the parking lots, the bus loop. We have the whole bus loop to replace and put down concrete. All the parking lots will get repaved, finished paving, and finished line striping. And then we will also start to mill down Rathburn Willard and the connector, mill that all down, regrade, and final pave that, as well as the final rotary installation. So we have a lot of work scheduled over those 8 weeks of the summer. So we're just making sure, we have all manpower and material lined up, and we hit all those dates. So,
And
And
we do
if
the
it doesn't
rotaries too,
yeah.
this summer?
And if it doesn't snow, you can maybe start a week earlier.
Yep, ideally. And if it stays like this, we're gonna keep, moving along with the drainage and as long as we can before the frost sets in. So we'll keep going as long as we can this summer, this winter.
Okay, anybody have any questions of Ally or Corey? Great. Then where do you want to go next?
You want to do change order 28?
Sure thing.
Okay. So all these have been reviewed, discussed with KBA and Skanska and have been approved. So the first one, GCR 182. This is to replace the area of refuge phone at the Area B elevator. It was inadvertently damaged and we needed to replace it. So that costs $1,893.58. GCR 185 is for PR 118. This is for the electrical costs only. We had previously approved the added CTE equipment and some AED cabinets in this change, but this is the electrical costs associated with the added equipment and relocated equipment. So we had to remove wire, repull wire, and replace breakers. The cost is $15,688.29. GCR 196, this is for ASI 140. Again, this is the electrical costs only. There was some regrading at the south of the bus loop, and as a result of that regrading, we had to raise the light pole base because it would have been buried. So we had to take down the light pole, raise it, and then reinstall the light pole. This cost is $2,013.98. GCR 200, this is for RFI 955. There was some additional tree removal required at the south of the tennis courts. That was not shown on the plans. That it's to the right, Ally. Other way. That's where the dugout and the batting cage goes eventually. So we had to clear out all those trees right there, right in front of the blue fence. Those costs equal $23,833.75. GCR 202 was for PR 138. This is the existing water main removal. So there's an existing water line off of Rathman Willard that runs along the old Blue Pride Way and connects back to Bushy Street. There was some conflict between the bid package 2 and bid package 3 drawings. The drawing said to maintain those water lines, obviously while the school was being used, but the removal of those water lines was never captured in our scope. So the cost to remove those water lines was $69,363.95.
And this was the recommendation of the water department to
Yes.
do this,
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
we had the option to leave them in place, but through contact with the water department, they chose that their policy is to remove antiquated lines so that they're not in the way of other work.
Right, that's consistent with other similar situations in the city.
Okay.
Okay. GCR 206 is for PR 132R1. So we had previously approved PR 132 for some added switches to the air filtration units in the shops. There was actually 4 more that were missed in the original PR that needed switches added. And we did this work over winter break. Those costs equal $2,979.08. And finally, GCR 207 for PR 101. This is an older PR. In that PR, there was a marker board swap, so they removed 2 tack boards and installed 2 marker boards. We missed that scope when we originally priced that change, so it's but it was noted on the punch list, and the teacher wanted the marker boards instead of the tack boards. So that cost equals $1,176.13. And the total of change order 28 is $116,948.76.
Anybody have any questions for Corey on that? Is there a motion? Oh, wait, Rob?
Just related to the tree removal from by the tennis courts, how much further back in terms of feet from where we had originally removed trees? Like, how many trees are we talking about? Is this something that's gonna
Ally,
upset
you want to
neighbors?
show the older photo side by side?
Rob, the trees were shown as not being in place on the finished drawing, so that obviously the dugout and the batting cage were in place on grass. It's just that on the demolition plan, the tree line was out where it was originally, rather than being cut back where it needs to be for those things on the finished plan.
Yeah, so there's,
It's those trees right in there. So now that fence connects from the blue on the right to the blue on the left. It comes right across, and all those trees are removed now.
Okay, I was more thinking in terms of light screening for the neighbors
Yeah.
that have their backyards right there.
It was, the way it was always intended to be, it was just missed on the demo plan.
Thank you.
any other questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything new on the changelog?
We can go through that, and then we'll do contingency transfers next. So we do have some new ones starting at 203. So GCR 203 is for some furniture revisions. So some furniture got swapped out over Christmas vacation, and we needed to have Griffin, the electrical subcontractor, disconnect and reconnect the electrical and the tel data. So that work happened already. We're just waiting for the final pricing. Right now, it's an estimate of $1,082.17. GCR 204, this is for PR 142. So when we installed the chiller enclosure on the east side of the site, KBA realized there was a blind spot from the cameras. So we're adding a camera behind the cedar enclosure there for added security.
There's a significant investment in what's right over there, correct?
Correct, yep. So that estimated cost right now is $5,410.86. Again, these are all just estimates, placeholders until we get formal pricing from the subcontractors. GCR 205 is for some additional equipment in the band and chorus per RFI 956. So during their testing of that space, there was some feedback that they were getting how the system was designed and integrated, so they suggested an added piece of equipment to help that overall system kind of work a little bit better. I believe KBA and their consultants have reviewed that, and we'll probably be approving that change next month. But for now, the submitted cost is $3,623.08. GCR 208 is for PR 143. So during our turnover of these lots and the morning drop off, Kate noted that corner at the entrance was dark. So we're going to be adding a site light right on that corner. So we're going to tap off that last light pole base right there and add another light pole to help light that corner up. So right now that estimated cost is $13,527.14. GCR 209 for PR 144. This is 2 added data jacks at the culinary counters in the culinary kitchen. Jeremy, I don't know if you know anything about this, but
And how to eat.
yeah, I
So-
believe it's to connect.
Yeah,
equipment.
we have the new credit card machines installed, so people order in the front of the house, but there's no way to connect the ordering computer to the expediting printers that print the orders in the back of the kitchen. So there are ports, there are, wall blanks, we just have to run the wires to connect the printers to the computers.
So again, we're working on final pricing, but the estimated cost is $3,246.52. And lastly, GCR 210 for PR 146 is the added acoustic panels in this room, just to help with the acoustics. We're working on getting pricing, but the estimated cost is $10,821.71. Any questions?
Okay, anybody questions on that? All right, then, do we go to the contingency transfers?
Yep, so we have 3 contingency transfers that we're looking for approval on. Again, these have been reviewed and approved by KBA and Skanska. And these are contingency transfers, so they do not increase the contract value. They come out of our contingency budget. So GCT 75 is for the removal and disposal of the existing oil sand separator at the existing high school, as well as 2 existing transformers, pad mount transformers. This scope was not originally bought, and the transformers were leaking oil, so we did have to do some soil cleanup around them as well. Final cost is $21,764.86.
But
Yeah,
the
and
amazing thing is that this is the only thing that we found knocking the old school down that needed to be remediated, which we were lucky.
It's unusual that the transformers are owned by the school district and not by the utility, which is the reason we had to pay to remove them, because they're owned by the district.
Go ahead.
GCT 77 is for asphalt escalation associated with the paving this fall, so all the paving of the east lots and the bus loop that we turned over. So when we bought out our subcontractor in 2019, we locked them in at a certain cost per ton of liquid asphalt, and so any cost above that set rate is captured in this. We have an estimate in place for future pavings, and it's all accounted for in our budget. But every time we pave, there will be a GCT for that cost. So the cost of that escalation was $7,454. And lastly, GCT 78. This is for the removal of the bid package 2 infiltration systems. So again, a little disconnect between the bid package 2 and bid package 3 drawings. So we installed temporary infiltration systems at the Bushy lot and the Blue Pride Way lot in bid package 2. Those systems are no longer needed underneath the fields, and they need to be removed. So again, it was kind of more of a misbuy, which is why it's coming out of contingency, and that cost is $34,798.
Any questions or comments? Then the motion's in order.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything new on this log?
Nothing new. We're still tracking GCT 76 for kind of the general requirement costs associated with the maintenance edition. So if you remember, when we approved the cost of the maintenance edition, we included a $95,000 contingency for costs like temp fence, temp heat, the tenting that you see there that we knew we were going to have to do, but it's very hard to price on lump sum. So we're just tracking that cost. Once we complete all that work, we'll finalize the costs and submit that. We did also include the added cost for painting. The maintenance edition will also be included in this GCT.
That's
So
interior painting.
interior painting.
And
correct.
we're also putting a sealer on the floor, correct?
Exactly, yep.
Because things might get dropped on the floor that would stain the concrete, right?
1 in a million chance, but, you know.
Okay, good. Then retainage reductions, is that what you're next?
Yeah, so like we did last month, so a lot of the subs, we requested retainage reduction last month, but there were a few that were left off. So this month we're requesting full retainage reduction for Emmanuel. He's our landscaping subcontractor. This is for the Western Field scope only. We had held retainage for some punch list items that have been closed now, so we're looking to do his full retainage reduction on that scope. CB seating for their bleachers and their gym equipment contract. So the bleacher work, they came and finished their punch list, and all their work is complete for both the bleachers and the gym equipment. So we're looking to reduce their retainage in full. And Bluebird, who is our signage subcontractor, they have completed all of their work that they can. There's still some signage that we're waiting on the final graphics for, but we're looking for full retainage reduction on the work that they've completed to date. And then retainage reduction less the monetized punch list. So last month, we reduced retainage for Griffin, Harold Brothers, and Arden to 1%. This upcoming month, we'll be looking to reduce their retainage down to their monetized punch list value. Again, none of this has been final reviewed and approved with KBA and Skanska. We still need to do that when we do our rec review process, but we're just seeking approval to start that process now. AET Labs, they are the ones that provided all of the CTE equipment. So their work is substantially complete, minus a couple pieces of equipment that we're still waiting on to be delivered. Singer Kittredge, they are the kitchen vendor who provided all the kitchen equipment. They've since completed all their punch list items and warranty items. Capital Carpet, the resilient flooring subcontractor, and Port Lighting, who provided all the theatrical lighting and audio. So they have since completed their punch list over winter break. So we're looking to reduce their retainage, less their monetized punch list as well.
Anybody have any questions or comments on that? Then I guess the motion is in order to approve all of the retainage reductions as just specified.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so, Antoinette, are you next?
So, I was just going to project my summary up on the screen for you all so you can see the percentages complete. There's one difference in what I have included in here, and that when Jeremy and I had talked about the invoice for White Mountain, I've already included that just to capture the cost here. So, so this month we had the invoice for Skanska, that's $98,348. That brings us to 79% complete. Castle Booze had an invoice for $114,035. That included their architectural services, and then there was an invoice from Samiotis for some of the additional work that they did for the wetland. And then Consigli's invoice consisted of $2,874,622 for contract work that was completed during the month. And then there was some change order work also, do you want to scroll down, Ally? Completed during the week, during the month, which for their contract work, it totaled $2,018,531.69. If we scroll down just a little bit more, there were a significant amount of retainage reductions released this month, totaling $3,033,234. And the breakdown is here, and I've actually cut and pasted that. We'll add that to the minutes, Jeremy, just so we can have that for record as well. And again, this was all discussed previously, and all vetted out with KBA and Skanska during our rec review. If we look at the other miscellaneous invoices for the month, we had a small invoice for Briggs, that's the testing service. That was for, I believe that was for some steel over in the maintenance edition for $672. The other project costs are, that would be the furniture invoices that Jeremy shows on the meeting minutes, and that's for OFI and Red Thread. And that was vetted through KBA's FF&E manager, Casey. And all the furniture that's been delivered, installed, everything's good to go there. And then there were also included in there was costs for the final invoices from Sterling, who did the actual move. So that was a reconciliation, and I know last month we approved, they had done a credit change order back to us, and so this is just their final billing, so we're complete with that. And then the other big number there, and the other project costs, is that actually includes the invoice. It's already been accounted for, that is forthcoming from Next Gen. So overall, all of that being said, we're billed out to 93%, and we're still on budget, and we're still on time. well, we're finished, so, yeah. Definitely on time.
Well, we're finished inside the school. but
Inside the
there's
school, yes,
A lot of
we still have-
exterior work
Yes,
that still has to go on.
Right, right.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Anjanette? All right, then I guess we should approve the bills. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
You're a little slow there on the draw.
the total on the bottom
Yeah.
is
The-
not correct.
The total's incorrect,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's doing
Yeah.
the math, because
Yeah.
I never retotaled from,
Yeah, because there's a bill for almost $5 million above, and it's only 3.4 below, so, but
the
bills as
past the
shown on the
constituent-
agenda without the total.
The constituent pieces, yeah.
So, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so therefore, Mary Ann, anything you want to add?
No, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been participating in moving the project along and trying to finish up these remaining items.
Good to see you, Dale.
Nice seeing you, Jack.
Craig, anything you want to add?
No.
Joe?
No, we're good.
Anybody on the committee have any questions or comments?
Our next meeting is scheduled for February 15th at 5:30. I don't know if this room is available. I know some of the folks on the committee will not be available because there is a union negotiation meeting that night.
And what time does that take place?
That's
5 to
scheduled for
7.
5 o'clock.
To 7?
Yes.
So if we need you for a quorum, we'll have to interrupt you for 5 minutes, have a roll call, have a quorum, and then you can go back to what you were doing?
But that negotiation is in this room.
Yeah, they happen in this room.
Oh, they happen in this room.
Yes.
So we're going to need an alternative meeting place.
Something may need to be worked out, yeah.
All
Either
right.
alternative meeting
We'll
or
talk to Jim.
some kind of rescheduling.
About what we can do. There may not be another place in this building that we could televise from, or is there?
We'll
We
figure it out.
might be able to.
We may just need to figure out a different time or a different day where this room is available.
Right, okay.
Maybe it'll-
The meeting is tentatively 2/15/23 at 5:30, but probably not here. Okay. Other than that, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? Then I guess a motion is in order to adjourn at 6:03.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.